I'm your host, Jim, and with me as always is... How are you, Mark?
Just effing wonderful.
Oh, I bet. I bet you are.
And how are you, Jim?
Oh, fucking fantastic. Thank you for asking.
I try not to curse on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, me either. I can't stand the fucking language.
I'm praying for you.
Please do. I could probably use it.
Dear Lord, who art in heaven, please help Jim.
Amen. So, Mark,
So-
what are we here to talk about today, sir?
So we are not here to talk about what we scheduled to talk about. So this is a bit of a last-minute scramble.
Right, and-
however, I spent a lot of time researching the stupid topic we have today.
Well, longer than 12 minutes?
I believe it was 12 and a half minutes. So.
Oh, wow. This is a fancy, researched episode then.
It's just of horror.
Yeah. So, we are going to talk about what?
Well, we were going.
Go ahead.
Okay, enough of that. So we were going to talk about strong female characters or female representation in horror.
Correct.
Lucy was going to come on, but unfortunately she's not feeling very well, and I feel it's important that we have, like a woman on here to talk about it.
You want a woman on here to talk about women?
Yeah, so we can mansplain to her.
Oh, well, right. I completely agree. Although I will tell you, I would not mansplain to her in person because I'm chicken shit. But I'll do it over the podcast, no problem.
Oh, yeah. You're
That's right. I'm a big man now.
Okay, so just trying to think of something kind of off the top of my head. I figured, why don't we do something a little bit random and fun?
Okay, please, because, this alcohol hasn't got me in a good mood yet.
So this is not a versus as far as which movie you prefer, right?
Okay.
I want to make that very clear. This is science, Jim.
Science fact.
I pulled a random bunch of horror characters and one non-horror character.
Okay.
And we're going to debate, Jim.
Debate. Ooh, I love to debate.
If they were to meet in quote unquote real life and fought.
Oh, wait, you said fought, right? Not the other F word. Okay, good. Okay.
Well, I mean that could be a separate episode.
Yeah, that could.
So, do you have any questions before we jump into this? Do you have any parameters or anything?
I am taking off the gloves, sir, so I am ready to discuss.
Okay, so the first one we have is Brundlefly.
Brundlefly, okay.
Versus Chucky.
Let's see. Well, if I remember correctly, Brundlefly had acidic saliva, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, then Brundlefly wins, hands down.
It wouldn't be the first time that Chucky's been melted and has bounced back though.
That is true, but he bounced back into another doll. I don't know that he'd have that opportunity here.
So there's no parameters on here. There could be another doll to jump into or another thing to jump into.
I'm going with the fact that Brundlefly tended to clean up his mess and eat the remains, so no, I don't believe he would survive.
So here's the curveball here.
Okay.
Brundlefly wanted to die.
It did, you're right.
So maybe he would just let Chucky kill him.
Maybe he would, but we're not talking about that, are we? We're talking about whether in a physical altercation, one would live and one would die.
But he might just give up.
Well, he might, but then again, so might Chucky. How do you know he won't?
Well, that's not in his character.
How do you know?
It's never been shown in any of the movies.
In other words, we're talking about real life, but you're going based off the script. Gotcha.
Okay. Hang on. We can't just suddenly make up things that the character has never done, right? like
But
motivations or anything else like that.
but
This,
I'm bringing this into real life. Who the fuck wants to be stuck in a doll with no dick?
uh, that,
I'd want to die.
maybe some people, Jim.
maybe.
It's, people castrate themselves.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Castrati, for example.
Oh. Yeah.
So
No.
you're going for a Brundlefly victory.
I'm going for a Brundlefly victory. Yes.
I'm just going to disagree with you on everything. No, I'm only kidding.
You generally do, so it's no shock to me.
It's almost like a debate class. Whatever you pick, I should just pick the other one.
Yes, you play You play the devil's advocate. Let me be right.
So, like I said, I think there is a couple of it's not as cut and dry.
Right. Agreed.
As one may think.
That is correct.
I think Brundlefly just has the mass and the acid vomit.
Yep.
To completely wipe out Chucky, and I don't think he would have a chance to do his little chant into some other body.
I do agree.
Unless Brundlefly just wants to off himself.
Which we know he did.
So it's a draw.
It's a draw.
Okay, the next one, I actually thought, okay, these two characters are kind of the same in a certain mythical, fantasy-related area.
Okay.
So we have your favorite.
Okay.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Versus Wishmaster.
Well, they're both immortal, so I don't think that it's a fair fight.
Are they immortal?
They are.
I'm pretty sure the Freddy remake killed off Freddy.
The Freddy remake was hot garbage.
And the Wishmaster 4 killed off Wishmaster.
Jinn cannot be killed. They can only be captured.
So let's not just say it's about killing, but about beating.
About beating, I think that the Jinn has more at his disposal as far as being able to capture or imprison or subdue. So I would go with the Jinn.
So, I mean, I think the question that needs to be asked, does the Jinn sleep and dream?
I would imagine so. I don't think he just stays awake inside his bottle or gem or whatever.
So then Freddy can attack him that way, and that's Freddy's world.
He did, but the real question is, what is Freddy going to wish for? Because the Jinn actually needs a wish to be made to activate their powers. So we all know Freddy has a big mouth.
Right.
But I don't know that he would be stupid enough to wish for anything, so the Jinn may never get the chance to activate his powers.
Well, he might wish for more bitches.
He might. You're right. He might wish for more bitches or more little meatballs like Rick.
Yeah, so this one is kind of an ethereal question, right?
It is. I think because I'm gonna amend what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go with Freddy only because he can be reborn in a dream, so he doesn't need the Jinn to come back. The Jinn does, however, need the person it's attacking to wish for something.
Right. So that is the Jinn's weak spot.
Right.
Is the Jinn smarter than Freddy to coax him into saying, "Oh, I wish you were dead, bitch."
Right.
Something, and then he's, "Oh, you wish this," and then he'll shoot himself, and then actually come back and kill Freddy or something. This one, God, why did I write this one?
This one's a little deeper than you thought, huh?
I am going to go with the Jinn just because I think he straddles both worlds better than Freddy.
That's not untrue.
So Freddy has his dreamy, we'll just call them like other non-reality based area.
Right.
And then, obviously, Freddy can be in the real world the same as the Jinn.
He could.
But the Jinn be able to make him wish for something?
That I don't know. I don't think so, because Freddy's a pretty smart character.
But he can be coaxed into certain situations.
Of course he can. Everybody can be.
I can't.
Oh, yes, you can.
Okay. So should we make a rule that we have to pick one?
Of course, we there is no draw. There has to be a victor.
I am going to switch back, and I'm going to say Freddy 2.
Okay.
Not Freddy 2, as
Freddy
movie,
also,
but Freddy also, because I don't think he would fall for the Jinn.
Agreed.
Are you beeping over there?
I am. I'm starting my oven.
Oh, my dog's looking around like, what's going on?
Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut that because I am starting an oven. I'm doing one of my cups. I'm multitasking because I didn't have to do any research for this episode. Anyway.
Okay. Up next, your favorite, the Xenomorph.
Okay. Of course. Okay.
Versus.
Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
I'm not saying it.
Go ahead.
Not the Predator.
Thank God.
Alien versus, I'll be specific about this, the remake version of The Blob.
Ooh. That's tough. I don't remember the Blob's weakness in the remake.
The Blob's weakness in the remake was cold.
And the Xenomorph doesn't like the cold either. So
no, the Xenomorph is fine in the cold.
I mean, it's okay, but every time you see it, when at the beginning of every movie, it's like the tropics, right? It's always hot.
No. You're thinking about the Predator.
No, I'm not, because
the Predator very much.
Think about the very first time that oh my God, what's his name? The guy from the first movie goes down into where all the eggs are. He's like, it's the goddamn tropics down here.
Right. But that's not the alien. That's just the eggs.
Well, where do you think they come from?
The aliens, they're all running around outside the compound when it's very windy and cold looking.
I'm not saying that they can't survive.
There's been nothing. So I'll put it like this: there's been nothing in the Alien movies,
right? Because Alien versus Alien.
I take that back. In Alien Resurrection, doesn't Brad Dourif use like a cold spray on them?
Like nitrous ox, like liquid or like an aerosol nitrogen or something.
Right. So but it doesn't kill them. It just
it just hurts. They don't right. Yeah.
It's cold. Whereas the Blob can get frozen by like an ice machine. So
it could, but would it be? My question would become: is it impervious, or is it able to recover from the acid attacks? Because if it were to devour a xenomorph, it would essentially liquefy everything in a sense, turning everything to acid. So would it be able to recover from that acid?
That is the question you have to ponder.
I know, and that's exactly where I'm stuck at the moment. What would happen? I am going to go with the Xenomorph, because I think even if the Blob were to fully it was to actually kill one, it would be affected by the acid. I would have to believe that it would. Whether it completely destroys it or at least makes it so that it can be subdued, I don't know. But I have to believe that it would be affected enough for it to be disabled if it did, in fact, kill a Xenomorph.
So I would disagree with you.
Okay.
I think the acid may or may not, because the Blob kind of liquefies people, which presumably is using some sort of acid, right?
Right.
Digestive acid. Now, the Xenomorph's acid is probably way more potent. However, as we've seen in the remake, even if a little part of the Blob survives, it survives.
That's true. That's
So I think even if the alien melted half of it, the other half would be fine.
right.
I am
And
going with the blob. And just as a general kind of thought, I think the blob would win in most fights against
that's
most.
probably not untrue. Um, and I have to say, a lot of my decision is probably based on my love for the movie. So
Exactly. And I told you it's not about the movies.
you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I just can't get it out of my heart that that is one of my favorite horror creatures.
And this
That
is
and that fucking bear from the Prophecy.
what about it?
I don't know. Those are like two of my favorite creatures.
Did you ever watch Annihilation?
I did.
What do you think about the bear in that one?
I thought that was a pretty wicked bear because I actually read the book first.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew to expect it, but I thought they did a really good job with it.
Agreed. Okay, moving on to the. Now this is going to be a random one.
Oh, fantastic!
So, in the show is like, oh, the Thing versus the Blob, blah blah blob thing, but nah, that's boring. Now we're going to have the Thing versus the Cenobites.
Oh well, that's easy. That's going to be the Thing all the way because
Why?
it can intimate or
Imitate.
yeah, thank you. Anything. So the minute it touches a Cenobite, it now they wouldn't know the difference.
But I mean, it's not like they get close, really, to a lot of things, right? Usually, it's from afar with hooks and chains.
I mean, it depends because if you look at the Cenobites in the second in Hellraiser 2,
Mm-hmm.
the Doctor does get very close.
But
So I guess it depends on which version of the Cenobites you get.
now they do touch people. So,
Right.
In the first one, at the very start, obviously they're rearranging Frank's face.
Right.
They're touching that part of it.
Right.
However, it seems like the Cenobites have some otherworldly, more knowledgeable insight than a normal person.
Well, that's probably true because they have all of the knowledge that's ever come before and after us because they're timeless.
Would Leviathan know that the Thing, is there shapeshifting?
I think it would only because it would know that it's foreign. Because
Right.
if this thing had never been there before, it would know that. It would sense that.
So Leviathan could communicate with the Cenobites.
Right.
However, one thing we haven't, I'm trying to think, have the Cenobites ever used fire?
Not to my knowledge. Not that I can recall.
Well, no, they in part 3.
Well, didn't they in Inferno also?
Huh?
I'm trying to remember Inferno because it was such a bastard of a movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
It's
I really
garbage.
Like it. No, you're wrong.
It's garbage.
It's not a great Hellraiser movie, but it's a really great movie just by itself.
It's garbage.
So Peter Atkins, who plays Barbie in part 3, throws the Molotov cocktails.
Yep.
So it kind of used fire.
Kind of.
We assume because the hooks and chains would do nothing.
Right. Exactly.
So who wins?
I got to go with the Thing because I still think that its powers of camouflage would be the Cenobites' undoing.
I think I'm going to go with the Cenobites just because I think Leviathan, and again, you could talk about where is the battle being held.
Right.
Because if it's on Earth, Leviathan probably doesn't have that insight.
True.
But if it's in Hell,
it would know that there's yeah.
And it could give better instructions on how to destroy it.
Could it? Because are you thinking that because Leviathan would know that it's a foreign body, you think that it would be able to ascertain how it can be destroyed, given that it knows nothing about this foreign entity?
I kind of feel like it would just use various methods until it found the one that worked.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's a valid point, but I disagree.
And it's all subjective apart from that I'm right.
Well, I mean, it's not. It is kind of subjective because obviously these are all made up characters, but I still think that you're wrong.
This is another one which I'm 50-50 on, but I will play Leviathan's advocate.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I suppose.
And choose the Cenobites. Okay. So we're going back to the mortal realm here. This is a very simple one for you, Jim.
Okay. Simple. I like simple. Let me make another drink.
We have Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
Versus Ash Williams.
Hannibal Lecter because he's more cunning than Ash Williams.
Yeah, but Ash is like the stupid lucky one.
He is stupid lucky. However, Hannibal Lecter is too well prepared for every situation he goes into.
So give me a scenario of Hannibal beating Ash.
Oh, well, that's fine. He would probably, because what are Ash's two main weapons?
His idiocy and his luck.
Weapons, sir. Weapons, not attributes. Weapons. His weapons are his chainsaw and his boomstick.
Yeah.
Right. So what I believe Hannibal Lecter would do is lure him into an area where he has already set up a target for him to waste his ammunition when he is hunting down Hannibal Lecter. And then he would also form some sort of trap to ensnare his chainsaw. Perhaps a very
wait. When does Hannibal set traps?
Hannibal prepares. He doesn't just go off the cuff.
Right, but he's not setting a trap like the trap.
Why not? Well, so if you are a hyper intelligent psych, listen to me. No.
I'm just going by the characters that are in the movies.
Right. So the character in the movie is a hyper intelligent psychopath.
Have you ever seen him set a trap?
Well, it depends. If we're talking about the series, yes.
No, the movies.
Why are we excluding the series?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair, I guess.
Actually, he did set a trap. See, I was testing you, Jim, and you failed. He set a trap whenever he got released, or whenever he got the cops.
Well, I mean, you're right. He planned his escape.
Right.
So, but that even furthers my point. That he would plan for every eventuality, and Ash Williams' luck is going to run out.
I'm going to give you a separate explanation.
Okay.
That's why Ash would win. So Hannibal will be in there, and he'd be doing his mind games and talking. Mm-hmm. And Ash would just be like, "That's not pillow talk," and just get his boomstick out and blow his head off. Boom!
Well, that's expecting that Hannibal Lecter is standing in front of him.
Or behind him.
Well, yeah. What makes you think that Hannibal Lecter would not go the Jigsaw route?
Because he's not Jigsaw.
But he's close in intellect.
No.
Yes.
Totally different characters. He does not set those sort of traps.
No, I'm not saying on a consistent basis. I'm saying when he's facing down one foe.
Let's put it like this. Hannibal Lecter was caught.
Correct. But was he caught because they actually caught him or because he wanted to be caught?
No, he didn't want to be caught.
I disagree.
Okay, give me the evidence for
that. Based on almost every serial killer I've ever studied.
No, I'm talking about the character.
I fully believe that the only reason
he did not want to be caught.
I disagree. Based on the amount of ease with which he escaped from the first movie, there's no way he stayed there unwillingly.
from the first movie, like Manhunter or Red Dragon? Is that what
No. I'm talking about from Silence of the Lambs when he escaped at the end of the movie.
right? But he was caught, and that's why he's in the jail in Silence of the Lambs. Correct.
But what I'm saying though is with the ease with which he concocted his plan to escape, there is zero doubt in my mind that he was not staying there willingly.
No, totally.
Yes, I disagree. You're wrong.
And he should have been killed in Hannibal by the butler guy. But just because what's his face's character was so nasty to the butler, he let him go.
I disagree, and you're wrong.
Yeah, you can disagree that you're wrong, I guess. Okay. You'll go for Hannibal. I'll go for Ash just for the fun of it.
Okay, that's
because I just think Ash is just dumb luck fun.
Well, I don't disagree. I do love that character, but
so here's one that's more, again, it's kind of like even-ish billing.
Okay.
But a little bigger.
Okay.
So we have Godzilla. Gojira. Versus Clover. From Cloverfield.
I have to believe that the atomic energy Godzilla spits would destroy those monsters.
What the huge Clover monster?
Yep.
And all of the little Clover monsters?
I honestly... yeah, I mean, well, I don't think he needs the atomic energy to kill the little monsters. But I think that it would destroy the larger monster, and then he could hunt down the little ones.
Well, if they all attacked at once.
No. So we don't get to come up with the plans for these characters.
No, I'm just saying it's still within the realms of the movie.
I disagree.
Nah, I think Godzilla wins that one. I just want to get Godzilla in there.
I was going to say you just wanted to get an argument going. What is the? I don't get it. What's the point?
Yes, everybody loves drama. Okay, here's an interesting one. Jason Voorhees.
Fuck me.
Versus Pennywise.
Well, I'd have to go with. I'd have to go with.
You don't
Jason.
sound sure of yourself.
No, I'm trying to think because I'm trying to make sure that I cover all my bases, right? So Pennywise, even after his heart is ripped out, comes back after 30 years, right? Or 32 years or whatever the book says. Even after they've ripped his heart out in the beginning as children. He still comes back and they have to fight him again.
Mm-hmm.
So that almost puts him on the level with Jason Voorhees where he continues to come back, right?
Well, Pennywise has been going around for centuries, if not millennia.
Right. So,
and remember, he's taken many, many forms. Pennywise is just one.
But what I have trouble with is the fact that Pennywise feeds off of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's enough of a brain in Jason's head to feel that fear. Which is why Freddy versus Jason was such an abomination of a movie.
No, not true, because as we witnessed in the documentary, Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason can be terrified of some water. And
bullshit.
Did you not see that documentary, Jim?
I call bullshit on that documentary. Sorry, sir. I have to call you on that bullshit.
This is kind of pitting to kind of unkillable. I mean, the way that they kill Pennywise in the movie / book takes kind of coordination and knowing how to do this, like the thing of Chud and and doing special things,
right?
Which Jason would never do. Jason would just try and cut its head off, right?
Right.
However, that wouldn't worry Pennywise at all. No worries. Cut my head off. I'll just grow another one.
Right. You're not wrong. I just
here's a twist. Here's a twist, Jim.
Okay, give me a twist.
Similar to the start of Freddy versus Jason, Pennywise could turn into Jason's mom.
Mm-hmm. He
and
could.
then he could maybe get fear out of him by portraying his mom in terror or something.
I just don't. I
This
don't see
way
it.
as Freddy manipulated him, but Pennywise, I think, is a stronger being than Freddy.
Right.
So yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that I agree. I really don't, because I don't think there's enough of a brain left in Jason's head for him to get afraid. I don't. So I have to go with Jason.
but again, we're going with the movies, and if you just take the movies, there are parts where Jason is in fact afraid, or he is
Right, and there are also parts where Pennywise is a victim of physical violence, which nobody deals out better than Jason Voorhees.
right, but it doesn't really affect him.
It does, because he has to slumber until he recovers.
But it's only through the power of a team. It's not one person, right? That's the whole point of like the loser club. They have to be together.
Do they have to be?
Yes, that's the whole point. That's why he killed what's his face in part 2 at the start.
Richie?
Right? He's trying to break up, their bond.
I don't know. I don't agree. I don't, but that's why we're here, right?
Right, we're here to correct you. So Pennywise. Okay, so moving swiftly on. Here's another oddball one.
Okay.
Ready for
As
this?
if the rest haven't been. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I was just like thinking. I wasn't even trying to think of weird ones. They just popped into my head. Gremlins.
Okay.
Versus Leatherface.
Are we in Texas?
Sure.
Then I'd go with Leatherface, because they'd be really hard. They'd be really hard pressed to find water.
But we're inside. What do you mean? There's water inside a house?
See, I would have thought you would have gone more even keel and go Gremlins versus Critters.
Yeah, but I'm trying not to do like the obvious ones.
I know, damn it.
And whenever I say gremlins, I mean plural gremlins.
Yeah, and that's the key here, right? Because they would just overrun him by sheer force of number.
Who is smarter, do you think?
The Gremlins? Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the Gremlins would win this one.
I agree.
Because Leatherface, he's not too smart.
Mm-mm.
I think they would outsmart him.
Right.
And Gremlins win.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, we just need Joe Dante to make that movie now.
If you're listening, Joe.
Okay, next one up. Candyman versus 13 Ghosts.
Well, I mean, technically, Candyman is a ghost, so he could be imprisoned.
Like the 13 Ghosts were imprisoned?
Yeah, 100%.
But could the 13 Ghosts imprison Candyman?
No, they can't. They don't have that power. It was a trap built for them, not by them. They could, however, if he was to enter their house, they could attack him at will if he's to be locked in.
Okay. So you're going for the 13 Ghosts victory.
I am. Just based on numbers, yes.
I guess so we're assuming that a person has already called Candyman.
Well, I mean, so yes, they would obviously with this mashup, you are assuming that Candyman has been called and he is in the location where the 13 ghosts are trapped.
Right.
So yes, those facts have to be met before this matchup can happen.
So I think we should make a movie about ghosts fighting each other, and they're just like punching each other's face, but it just goes through, like.
Well, yeah, didn't we already see that with the Ring versus the Grudge?
No, they were actually fighting. and I have a surprise for you coming up.
That was done so well, I got to say. Anyway,
so this one is a bit of a non-entity for me. Whatever. I don't think either would beat either. It's nonsense.
Okay. Well, you do. We know how you love ghosts. So.
Speaking of nonsense,
Mm.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Versus the monsters from The Mist.
Explain to me what you mean by poltergeist.
The movie Poltergeist, the Poltergeist and Poltergeist.
Well, the poltergeist and poltergeist were not one single entity. There were many.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was not.
Yeah, it was.
It was Cain and all of his followers.
It was Cain. So
it was not just Cain.
Well, let's just go back to the first Poltergeist.
When you didn't know anything.
A singular entity doing it.
So then why wouldn't we do the entity versus rather than poltergeist? Because that was a single entity.
No.
Why?
Because I made this list, Jim. If you
okay.
You could have made your own list.
I'm sorry, repeat my choices now.
The poltergeist from Poltergeist
Uh-huh.
versus the creatures from The Mist.
I would have to say the creatures from The Mist because the poltergeist from Poltergeist isn't going to do anything but steal your house.
So,
and really, what effect is that going to have on those robotic fucking creatures?
So to me, the poltergeist can act in the physical world.
Correct.
I don't think the creatures of The Mist could harm the poltergeist.
Well, that's true, but you never saw them break anything that or attempt to inflict pain on anything that wasn't human. So
no, we're talking about a poltergeist, not human.
No, I did no, but that's my point. That's my point. The poltergeist in Poltergeist,
right?
It never caused any real harm to humans.
Well, no, you're not. No, I thought you were a Poltergeist fan, Jim.
I am.
Okay, so do you remember the guy that got the big bite on his side?
Yeah, but that was a bite.
Like it came alive and almost ate Robbie.
Right, that was a tree.
They can do yes, but it was controlling a physical object to do certain things.
Correct. I didn't disagree with that.
Cause physical harm to physical things, right?
So you're telling me it was just really bad at it?
No. Well, it didn't want to kill it. Is that?
Yeah, it was trying to distract and not consume because it wanted to get Carol Ann. I get all that.
It can cause physical harm to physical things,
right?
But it's something which a physical thing cannot necessarily harm it unless going to its realm and throwing a spear at it and all this.
I was going to say a spear pass through a fire gate does work.
I don't think the creatures in The Mist could do that.
Well, I don't know, because if you listen to Tangina in Poltergeist 3, it's outside in, and you just need the necklace.
Right. I don't think the creatures in The Mist are going to understand you need a necklace to travel to the other realm to defeat the poltergeist.
Okay, I mean that's fair. You're right. They do. There are benefits. You're right. There are benefits, and I can see your point. And I honestly just don't give a shit about this one. So I'll
Okay. So you mean you agree with me?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, but then it's the passive aggressive. I don't give a shit about this.
Mm-hmm. Yep, pretty much.
How's Ray doing, by the way?
He's sleeping.
Poor guy. Anyway, next up we have a Stephen King. Another 2 Stephen King movies up against each other.
Oh, fuck me.
Our characters.
Are we doing Randall Flagg?
We are doing Cujo.
Okay.
Versus Jack Torrance.
Well, that's easy. Jack fights with an axe. That dog doesn't stand a chance.
Well, what if he's frozen?
Then it wouldn't matter.
But would he even know that Cujo's sneaking up on him?
Yeah, of course he would. He was
worrying about frigging Stanley Kubrick making him do like 120 takes. He wouldn't know what's going on.
Yes, he would. The character of Jack Torrance was hyper vigilant and was always aware of his surroundings.
Would the ghost let him know that Cujo's running around the hotel?
If he posed an imminent threat, yes.
Mr. Torrance,
There's a dog.
I regret to inform you that there's a very naughty dog
Mm-hmm.
running around the hotel.
And he must be dealt with severely.
You must correct the dog.
Mm.
But then again, Cujo just needs one bite, right? Because they are sequestered up there. No way to get out.
Right.
So if Cujo does a ninja sneak attack, just a quick bite in the leg, Cujo wins.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree. I think the man with the axe wins every time.
Well, he doesn't have the axe all the time.
No, but he would for Cujo.
Well, whenever he gets knocked out and then gets let out by the ghost, he doesn't have any weapons.
That's a lot of what ifs, my friend. A lot of what ifs.
Well, I know. Whenever he's typing, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy over and over again for like hours and hours. You're telling me Cujo couldn't run in there and just give him a quick little nibble?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Because he's got a screaming wife who's going to let him know that there's a fucking dog on the loose.
Daddy, get away!
Exactly. Her cigarette ash would have fallen if that was the case.
Okay, I'll give that one to you. And rather than being passive aggressive, I'll just give it to you, Jim. I'm going to like.
It's a good thing I'm drinking.
I don't care about that one because I. Okay.
It's a good thing I'm drinking, my friend.
So next up, we have the Predator versus the Terminator.
Oh, the guy with the nuke wins.
Well, what do you mean?
The Predator has a nuke on his arm. He wins.
Well, no. How is that winning? Because that's a self-destruct. He dies too.
Who cares?
That's not winning.
Sure it is.
Do you know what a Pyrrhic victory is, Jim?
A what?
A Pyrrhic victory.
No.
Okay. So
come on, educate the heathen. Come on.
It goes back to Greek history, where Pericles won a battle, but he lost so much that the battle was hollow. He really lost more than he won.
Okay.
So in this, we're not looking for, hey, I could just blow myself up and you up, and then I win. No.
Why not?
Because that's not... Jim, do you understand the concept of winning?
I do, and if I get the last word, I win.
I guess maybe you don't.
Okay. Anyway, I still think that the Predator wins.
Why? No, you can't use this nuclear bomb. Because you know what? I don't know if that would actually kill the Terminator. You would have to.
Well, it depends on which Terminator we're talking about.
We're talking about
he was crushed in a compactor in the first movie. Then you had him melted in a molten iron thing. So, which Terminator are we talking about?
Any of them.
The only one that might survive is the liquid Terminator, and that's a maybe if he's not completely vaporized.
Jim, don't ever make even a short movie. New on YouTube. It's the Predator versus Terminator. Wow, this is fucking fantastic! I am so happy to see this knockdown, lasers blasting machine guns.
Nope.
Robots.
Just press the nuke button.
And it's just the Terminator sitting down, and then the Predator coming up behind him, going. Zoop, zoop,
yep, exactly. And then mushroom cloud.
Thank you for watching our 5-second video.
Right.
This one's tough for me because the Terminator is super durable.
Yes.
And the Predator obviously has a lot of lasers and strength and agility and everything else. It would actually be a really cool movie to watch.
It would be a fun fight to watch, but I do believe that, if I'm being honest and not just playing devil's advocate, that the Terminator has the advantage because the Predator is vulnerable to physical harm, whereas the Terminator can recover.
And it would also be interesting because they both have different sight, right?
Right.
they both have like hyper sight. So like the Terminator.
Well, that's what would be interesting because
the Predator probably maybe right.
Well, because the Terminator is technically cold, so would the Predator be able to see it?
Right. Good question.
Yeah.
But hang on. But the Predator does have a layer of skin which would have some heat. Plus, it's a machine, so there's heat coming from it. Whether it would recognize...
Well, maybe from its core or its battery. It probably wouldn't know what it was looking at, but it would understand that there's something there.
Holy shit. Okay, so write this down, Jim.
Okay.
So we have an alternate universe.
Okay.
It's the 1980s.
The best decade ever.
RoboCop has just been developed.
Okay.
RoboCop is actually John Connor. The Terminator gets sent back to kill John Connor, who's RoboCop.
Okay.
But the Predator's also there looking for like the toughest, fight that he can get.
Right.
So it's actually the Predator versus RoboCop versus the Terminator.
Is it though? Is it though? Because I would think that RoboCop would team up with the Predator to take down the Terminator.
No. The Predator's breaking the law by doing all the violence that is.
Because the friend of my friend, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Nope. No, this is a 3-way slugfest.
I don't know. Every time I've ever seen a 3-way fight, it turns into a porno. So I don't know how I feel about this.
Most people don't watch the media that you do, Jim.
Anyway.
The Predator. All right. Okay. So this is going to be a fan favorite for you, Jim. And
okay.
I don't know how you will pick one from the other because they're both firm favorites of yours, both like top of your list, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So we have Jaws.
Okay.
Versus the shark from The Last Shark.
Oh, that's easy. Jaws wins every time.
But you watched The Last Shark, Jim.
I did. And I also realized that last shark is paper mache.
So we have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Okay. Oh my god, I can't even say this with a straight face.
Which one?
Oh my god. I'd have to go with King Kong. He'd probably just wind up eating the marshmallow.
Jim. I said King Kong, not King Dong. I know you watch different media from the rest of us. So I just wanted to be it's the large ape one.
Yeah.
Large, whatever one you're thinking about.
I have to go with King Kong because I have a feeling
it's Stay Puft.
I think he would just eat the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Okay, moving swiftly along.
I think I've seen that porn too. Oh my god.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Okay, go up. Moving on.
Okay, here's one that actually has a bit of a doppelganger.
Oh, Jesus.
In the Friday the 13th series.
Okay.
So we're doing Carrie versus Michael Myers.
I'd be much more interested to see Carrie versus Tina from Friday 7.
But so that was kind of the same idea, right? The telekinetic versus the unstoppable
killing machine
slasher. But we have Carrie versus Michael Myers.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. Carrie's not impervious to her own power, so she would destroy herself to kill Michael.
What is it with you and people destroying themselves, Jim?
Well, what did she do at the end of the movie? She buried her mother and herself in their house.
I'm I'm just saying maybe you need to seek some sort of mental guidance. I don't know. I mean, it's fine, Jim. Just there's lots of people out there to help. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make a rule from now on, which I realize they should have made at the start. Nobody can just implode or kill themselves to win a victory.
There is no kamikaze in this fight, is what you're telling me. Okay. So I would have to. Well, that's easy because it would have to be Carrie because Jason would have to make physical contact. Michael Myers. Sorry, Michael Myers. Michael Myers would have to make physical contact with Carrie to do any harm. Carrie doesn't have to make physical contact.
So why didn't it work in Friday the 13th Part 7?
Because it wasn't in the script. Because they had her running around like a scared little girl through 90% of the movie. She didn't get any balls till the last 10 minutes.
So, do you know, I don't know, did you ever play, Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
You know, they have fatalities and stuff.
Yep.
I wished for this one, it's not a fatality at the end, or a brutality, or an animality. It's the friendship one, where Carrie just rescues Michael Myers from every single Michael Myers movies after the second one. She just lifts him out of that world and just says, "You just go on and
you go rest, young one. You've been through enough."
For this one, I mean, so Carrie's a weird one, right? Because it's not like she is fully in control of her powers. It's like a rage thing,
right?
Michael Myers could do his finger up the butt thing that he does in Halloween 2, and just sneak up on her, just stab her, and she's dead. I mean, very difficult for her to kill Michael Myers.
You're basing a lot of that off of 80s movies where that sort of stuff happened. Most people where they know that, the finger up the butt.
Well, I'm just trying to relate to your media.
Right. So you're assuming that she would not be hypervigilant knowing she's being hunted if they are in a true battle, which I 100% disagree, because I think she would have been more in tune with her surroundings, so she would know there's somebody sneaking up behind me.
So
not everybody sits on the couch and just goes, "Oh, I don't hear somebody coming in my door."
So here's a scenario for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carrie is in the locker room.
Okay.
She's having her first period. She doesn't
plug it up.
And then all the girls are laughing around her.
Mm-hmm.
Michael comes in and kills all the other girls, and then just stabs her in the face.
Dude, by the time he got through with all the other girls, she would have gotten up and run. No, so that's not even a plausible theory. Not even plausible.
She's going to run. She's in
He's got a lot of bitches to get through in that scene before he gets anywhere near her.
Jim, would you not use the B word, please? We're a family-friendly podcast.
Well, I mean, in that scene, they were bitches. They were. That's what they were. They were being bitches.
They were going through a rough patch in their lives, Jim. They have now reformed. Okay, so next up, a meme-worthy thing that we've seen a million times. John Kramer, Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Versus Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister wasn't a villain.
No,
I object to this matchup.
Oh, bullshit. They're not all villains. I already mentioned Ash a while ago.
Ash could have been a villain because he was an asshole.
Bullshit. He's not a villain. Okay, Jim, just answer the question. Who would win?
Jigsaw.
He would out-trap Kevin McAllister?
Yeah, he would out-trap a 10-year-old kid. Yes.
Did you see the thing about is Jigsaw Kevin McAllister growing up?
I did.
Okay, Megan versus Sadako.
I hate you for this.
Well, you hate me for a lot of things.
Well, I mean,
I just add this one to the list.
I don't see how Sadako could influence her at all. She'd have to scare her to death. And that doesn't happen with a robot.
I would like to hear that phone call. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Oh, I'm going to die in 7 days. Maybe you will.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't threaten me if I were you.
Yeah, so that was just a silly. Like, some of these are just fucking silly. The like kind of robot die. I don't know. That's a question about AI.
Right.
That's a deeper question, Jim.
That is a deeper question.
I know you're a big fan of Black Mirror.
I really was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The monster from the Relic versus the monster from the Ritual.
I have to go with the monster from the Relic because I think he would rip off that human face.
So the monster from the Relic is very much a non-mythological,
Right. It's rooted in fact. Yes.
type monster, whereas the other one has more mythological powers.
Kinda. I mean, he did physically kill people. Or
Right, but it's more like it's more like not I would say godlike, but it's more in that realm of not just a physical being.
Right.
There's something else going on.
Right. I don't disagree.
I would like to see that fight. I think it would be pretty cool because the monster from the Relic is very agile and just running around the trees and stuff.
Yep.
And like, yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know who. As we go along, I just don't even want to pick because there's so many interesting ideas around it.
Right.
About what could be, and some of these aren't very clearly defined in the movies. That
Right.
powers they have. So this is one I think you've seen one of these movies, hopefully.
Okay.
So the Graboids,
Yep.
Tremors,
Yep.
versus the monster from Blood Beach.
I've seen both of these movies. Blood Beach was one of my mother's favorites when I was a kid. They're very similar too.
Yeah, both subterranean terrors, Jim.
Yeah. Huh. I would have to say I would probably go with the Graboids because of the volume. There are more of them to attack one
They're
being.
louder, Jim?
No, not that kind of volume, sir.
Because there's more of them.
Yes, more of them.
So here's my counterpoint. Do you remember what happened at the end of Blood Beach?
It took off, didn't it?
No, they blew it up.
They blew it up. Okay, I knew. Okay, yeah, you're right. They blew it up.
But the stinger at the end of that was that there was lots and lots and lots of little tiny Blood Beach monsters that came from that.
Right.
So you could say that there could be more of those versus more of the Graboids.
Is that? I don't think so. I think the Graboids have been here longer, so there's more of a more assorted variety.
Okay, so I'm going to have to ask you to show me your evidence that the Graboids have been here before the monster in Blood Beach.
Well, the monster from Blood Beach didn't show up till the 80s. Those giant subterranean worms had to have been here longer than that. Had to have been.
What do you mean didn't show up until the 80s? What are you talking about? The movie.
Well, did anybody hear about him before the movie?
So they're just better hunters because nobody discovered them.
I disagree. I think they were much worse hunters because the minute they started attacking people and people were dying on the beach, they closed the beach. and only the morons that still went on a closed beach died.
Right, but that monster didn't just suddenly come alive in the 1980s. It must have been around for much longer, right?
Well, I don't know. Audrey 2 showed up during an eclipse, so what? How do we know this one didn't do the same?
So you're saying that it's like some sort of alien that just landed there in the 80s?
Yes.
Can you show me the evidence in the movie, please?
I could, but my hard drive was hacked.
I think you're just making shit up, Magic. Okay. Next up, we have a couple of nocturnal creatures. We have the crawlers, I think they're called, from The Descent.
Okay.
Versus the vampires from 30 Days of Night.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, they're all good. I came up with them.
No, they're not. Whoops. That's a good one. I don't know, because the crawlers had better stealth, but the vampires were like, I want to say they were stronger, so like they would be more physically
I think this one's fairly straightforward, actually, even though I like the matchup. Yeah, because how do you kill a vampire?
Sunlight.
No. What other methods do you
beheading
use? Right. The stake through the chest.
Yeah.
Etc. I think the crawlers from The Descent are easier to kill than the vampires.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And the vampires are smarter.
Are they, though?
Yes.
I'd have to say on this one. I'd have to say on this one, I'm stumped.
The crawlers are semi-intelligent animals,
right?
Whereas the vampires are like human, at least levels of intelligence.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Okay, and for my final pick.
Oh, thank God. Go ahead.
I'm by far the most random. So we have Dracula. Another vampire.
Yeah.
Against the creature in Nope.
What?
Who would win, Jim?
I got nothing on this one. So I can't think of one redeeming quality of this matchup.
So this is one where I think you would have to picture,
if you will.
It's night, right? So Dracula's walking around. He looks up into the sky. The creature from Nope is just hovering around. It sees Dracula looking up.
Right.
It sucks Dracula into its trachea.
Right.
Can Dracula drain enough or kill it from that position?
Who knows? Do you know? I don't know about the circulatory system of the big vulva.
Could Jim? So it really comes down to: could a vampire live, survive, and enjoy the blood from an alien creature?
I don't know.
Can you give me some definitive evidence, one way or the other?
Well, if we go to Plan 9 from Outer Space, we see that the vampire, isn't she an alien?
Vampira.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though.
I harken back to where my favorite book series, where Dracula, it's called the Necroscope series, right? Where vampires, including Dracula, were actually parasites that came from a parallel dimension. So I think it's possible that they could survive on alien blood.
Or here's a more horrible thought.
Okay.
Dracula can't be killed, right, by being digested.
Right.
He can have all the internal, acid poured over him.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't kill the creature either because he's just not strong enough, and draining whatever out of it is just too big. So Dracula now just lives in the stomach,
right,
of the Nope creature for forever, how long that lives. This one is a draw.
Yeah. I don't see an easy way out of this.
Okay. Did you like that?
I did. I thought that was fun.
It was very random.
Yep, it was, but not unenjoyable. So, I guess we're on to what we watched, right?
Correct.
Okay. You want to go first? You want me to go
first? For once on this podcast, you're
right. For once. So, you want to go first? You want me to go first? What do you want?
I have a bunch of stuff which you may have opinions on, so...
Okay.
I probably haven't read what you've read, so...
Probably not. So, I have 3 audiobooks that I've listened to in the past week, 2 weeks, whatever. So, actually, well, I finished one that I already talked about, Blitz by Daniel O'Malley. Fantastic book. It takes place over 2 different timelines. One is during World War II, and one is in present day. It's essentially a murder mystery type book, but all of the central characters have supernatural powers. It's the 3rd book in the series, and it's just fantastic. Like, it's funny. It's got heart. It's got people characters you actually care about. It couldn't have been a better entry into this series. Then I got. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. I got a copy of a book from a Facebook group by an author named CB Jones, and he gave me an Audible coupon code in exchange for an honest review of this book. So I wanted to talk about this book. It's called The Rules of the Road.
So shall we talk a little bit about getting free stuff for reviews?
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
What do you think about that in a kind of not moral sense, but do you think that people perhaps do that to just get reviews, whether they're good or bad? Or it's kind of like, hey, it's free, wink.
So
good review, even if it's not that great.
I have never been asked to leave a positive review, and some of what I've read as part of that group has not been great. I always leave an honest review. I don't blow smoke because you know me, I don't like being dishonest.
Well, you don't like a lot of stuff, so I don't know why.
I know. Right.
Like they should just listen to this podcast and be like, oh my God, I'm not sending any shit to that guy. He'll just, even if he loves it, he'll give it a 3 out of 10.
Right. So this book is, it's a collection of short stories. I don't remember the total count. I want to say it's somewhere between 12 and 14, if I'm not mistaken. And it essentially builds. It's about this guy that he hears a broadcast while he's driving, and the broadcast is essentially talking directly to him. If you ever see this situation or you see this happen, this is what you have to do, or something drastic will happen. So the main character hears it. He follows the advice, but then he becomes obsessed with finding other people that have encountered this because he wants to know what the purpose of it is. Okay, so the most of the rest of the book is him listening to other people recount their stories.
It almost sounds like the setup-ish to a certain degree for Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
It kind of, I can see that parallel. I thought of it more as like an Amazing Stories type of thing, where it's just independent stories that have one common connector between them. I know Amazing Stories, they didn't have a common connector, but what?
one common denominator. Is that what you meant?
No, this is well. I mean, it's not really a denominator because, well, I guess yeah, it is because they all hear this. Whatever, dude. Shut up.
I'm just being a dick.
I know you are, but you're so good at it.
Yeah. Years of practice.
Right? A lot of years. I know how old you are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
now, Jim.
If you had feelings, I'd be worried. But anyway, so I really liked this book. I thought it was. I mean, I'm not going to say all of the stories were great, but I was. There's one story about. So it sort of gives you like these urban legends, like the one that I liked. I think it was called. Oh crap! I got to get the name of this story again because I lost my note. Hang on.
That's a weird title for a story.
Hold on.
I'm holding.
Hey. Let's see. I want to see if this shows me that I just need to see a list of the actual tales if I can. Hang on.
Sounds like you're a furry.
A furry?
You're waiting for a list of the tales?
Ha, ha, ha.
I'm just playing into your media.
I do not like the furry's ass.
Well, what part do you like?
I'm not even gonna go there.
Neither am I, Jim.
So this story, and I for whatever reason I can't remember the name of it. I was looking at it and I was trying to look it up. I think it's called Alone, and I could be wrong, but it's about this girl who is given the instructions when she hears this broadcast, where if you go to a gas station and they have keychains with names on it, you have to look for your name. If they don't have it, nothing happens. If they do have it, you have to buy it, lest you forget. So she's there with a friend who is a fair weather friend. You know, she gets the feeling she's being used in this relationship. So they pick up the two keychains with both girls' names on it, but one of them gets left behind on the counter. And slowly, this girl is telling the tale of her friend losing her mind. She can't remember her name. Her parents start to forget her name. She has to be taken care of. She's practically an invalid. And that's all I'm going to say. Because...
So it's an analog of mental deterioration when you get older.
Well, but she's not getting older. That's
what an analog means, Jim.
What? I'm sorry.
It's not literally her getting older. It's just a representation of what happens when you get older for some people and they lose their mind.
That probably is a fair analogy, yeah.
I just made that up. That's good.
But anyway, that was probably my favorite story in this entire series, in the entire book. But all of them were engaging. A few of them I wished were longer, but that didn't detract from the fact that I still enjoyed them. So I did want to make sure that I talked about that. The other two books that I listened to this week, I have gone back to my post-apocalyptic reading, and I got back into the Helldiver series by Nicholas Sansbury Smith.
Okay. Can we...
I know you hate
no. Like post-apocalyptic is a kind of a funny term, right? Because
for you.
No, I mean there shouldn't be anybody alive.
Right.
Like
that's true.
It should be like post-near apocalyptic.
Okay. Post-near apocalyptic. Okay. I mean, if you want to argue semantics.
I'm just being pedantic.
Yes, you are being pedantic.
So Helldivers, yes, I had that saved a long time ago on my Audible list, which I really have to get back to because there's a new Pendergast book out.
There is, you're right.
on Audible. It, you know what it is, Jim, and I'll let you finish. But
thank you, Kanye.
Okay.
I got you with that one, didn't I?
Like I had an iPod Classic, and before that, I had a Zoom, and that's how I listened to podcasts, to audiobooks, and all that.
Okay. I cannot believe you're admitting to owning a Zune, but go ahead.
I loved my Zoom. I thought
Okay.
it was way better than the iPod. Loved it.
Okay.
Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I know it was a huge brick, but it was so much better. But they did away with the Classic, and now it's just like the iPod Mini and stuff. And it's so just like annoying to try and figure out, especially plugging into the car. You have to go through different menus and and it's just fucking annoying.
Why don't you just download the app on your phone?
Because I don't listen to shit through my phone in the car.
You don't connect your phone to your car?
My phone's connected.
So then why wouldn't you just use an app on your phone since it's already connected?
Because that's annoying. I want something separate from my phone that can do the same job that my Zune did.
Why?
15 years ago, because that was much easier.
Why?
Because it's less button pressing and less...
Why is having a second device less complicated than just using one?
Because one is meant for one specific job and the other is meant for...
Is it because you're a whiny baby?
It might be. But no, like... It's just like you have to go through different menus, and it's just fucking annoying. It's just annoying.
Anyway, say so. So anyway, I started Helldivers 9.
It is.
I was a book behind. The newest book in the series is Helldivers 10.
I'll shut up now.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for you to finish.
It is. Okay. It is. Go on.
So anyway, so I did finish Helldivers 9, and if since our podcast is so widespread, if Nicholas Sandberry Smith is listening, I hate you for what you did at the end of Helldivers 9 because I had to immediately go buy Helldivers 10.
Well, why would you hate him for doing a cliffhanger?
There is no.
Is that not something to be commended?
It was not a cliffhanger. There is a character that is very prevalent in Helldivers 9 that I hate so much. I have to hear him die.
That's not very nice, Jim.
I know. And you know what this character's name is?
Let live.
Not this guy. He nuked an entire fleet of vehicles so that he could take over and take control and institute quote-unquote peace. Then he went and nuked an outpost for that same civilization and stole all of the seeds that they had gathered to bring back to save everybody from starving.
Well, he sounds like a go-getter to me.
You want to know what his name was? The character's name? Do you want to know?
Is it Jim?
It's Charmer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's charming.
Yeah. So anyway, I rushed right out and bought Helldivers 10. And
I have never been that upset about a fictional character in my life.
You have no idea. I was so enraged about him, and given my mindset the last 2 weeks, it just fed it. And I was like, oh my God, I got to hear this guy die. I got to hear him die. And now they're at war. So in Helldivers 10. So if I don't get a satisfaction, I am going to write the nastiest email. Well, I really won't, but I'll feel it.
Okay, Karen.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's
anyway. Sorry, not to poke more fun than I need to with you. But I mean, I think it's a sign of good writing when you can.
It is
a character that you really love or hate or have some sort of emotion around. Oh,
yeah, I 100% agree. He's great at that. He's great at getting you to connect with his characters. He is fantastic, and it makes me sick.
It's the same way that both of our listeners can connect to my character.
Your character? This is just who you are.
It's a roller coaster of laughing, and then I give an opinion, and it's not that great, and they're like, oh no, it's so sad. You know, your mom and the other person, it's wonderful.
My niece.
Your niece, yes.
Well, we can't forget Sarah. Sarah and Debbie listen too. So does my sister.
Oh yes, we have some guests that we have lined up, by the way.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like who? I know Lucy. Who else?
You and Sarah doing their true crime podcast.
Oh, yes. I did see about that. I didn't know that we had made that official yet.
Yeah, no. I just invited them on and said yes. So that's official to me.
Well, no. I mean, as official as in a date.
Oh, no. Just like in the future. And then another one of mine, I think it's your Facebook friend too, Malcontent.
I don't know. I don't know if we're Facebook friends or not. I know we're in a lot of the same groups and we interact online, but I don't know if we're I don't know if we're actually.
If she wanted to come on because she's got a good wide breadth of horror knowledge. So yeah, so we have guests that will be appearing in the future.
Yes, we do. Mark, do you want to talk about what you've watched?
So I will talk about stuff, and I will go from ones which you're probably least interested in,
which is pretty much anything you watch.
You're most interested in, but I think most of them you're probably interested in.
Okay.
So I did a rewatch of one of my favorite authors' only movie. I think we've talked about this before, which is the 1978 Tony Curtis vehicle, The Manitou.
Oh God, I love that book.
By Graham Masterton.
I loved that book.
This is such a fantastic, cheesy kind of Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, fun, and this was his first novel.
Yeah.
Movie directed by William Girdler, who did like Grizzly and things like that. Unfortunately, he died, like right after he finished making this in a helicopter accident.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Scouting for another movie, but this is so much fun. It's like cheese, fantastic, fun.
Yep.
Super watchable. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Crazy ending. Wonderful stuff.
Yep. Agreed.
It's on Shudder now. If you like this sort of stuff, check it out.
Yeah, like I said, I've read the book. I don't think I've seen the movie.
Yeah, check out the book. Oh, you haven't seen the movie?
No, I don't think I have. I know I've read the book. I don't think I've seen the movie. I can't remember if I have or not. If I did, it was once a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, it's on Shudder now. Check it out. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. So can we talk a little bit about Elijah Wood?
Sure. What do you want to say about Elijah Wood?
So Elijah Wood, I think, is pretty much like a semi-horror cult classic fanboy person that I love to see in basically any movie because I think he's a great actor. But he's a huge horror nerd.
Is he?
Huge horror nerd, yes.
Okay.
So I watched the 2014 movie Cooties.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
So this also stars, what's his name from The Office?
Rainn Wilson?
Rainn Wilson, correct. And it was written by Leigh Whannell.
Okay.
Who obviously did Saw and all those Insidious stuff and the James one, right? And this is a real fun horror comedy about Elijah Wood, who is pretty much a loser living with his parents, but he pretends to be a big shot author. He goes to a school as a substitute teacher.
Oh.
And there is infected chicken nuggets, which some of the kids eat.
Okay.
Turn them into basically zombies.
Okay.
But this is a real fun movie. Yeah, I mean, I really recommend it.
Okay.
A 3.5 out of 5. It's not the best movie you'll ever see, but it is really worth your time.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Sacha Baron Cohen vehicle, which I've never seen before. The 2016 movie, I think it's known by either the Brothers Grimsby or just Grimsby.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
What do you know about Grimsby, Jim?
Nothing.
What is Grimsby?
No idea.
Grimsby is a town in England or a city in England.
Okay.
So this is like a kind of James Bond knockoff with Mark Strong in it. Sorry, where Mark Strong is Sacha Baron Cohen's brother, and they were separated at a young age. And Sacha Baron Cohen has become kind of football hooligan sort of guy, and Mark Strong is this James Bond sort of guy, and they haven't seen each other for like 30 years, whatever.
Okay.
I kind of feel with Cohen, I prefer his like Borat, Ali G messing with the public persona more than his scripted stuff. Now, that's not to say it's not funny or it's a good movie.
Right.
And it definitely pushes the envelope as far as kind of that gross out humor.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was decent. Again, from 2016.
Okay.
So I have 3 left. Let's see which would be most interesting to you. Okay, so I watched Fear No Evil. Did I mention this before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so this is from 1981, I believe.
Okay.
And it's very much, I don't want to say like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but it's kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 mixed with like The Omen.
Okay.
And it's kind of a gothic thriller, and apparently a really low budget, but it doesn't show on screen. Like it looks really good. It's got a really awesome like punk soundtrack, and not like punk like, oh, I've never heard this song before, but it's got like the Sex Pistols and da 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 in it.
Okay.
For a low budget at that time, but there is definitely, and it's not subtext, a gay thing going through it.
Okay.
And it's basically, it starts off with a priest killing a person. That person is the Antichrist.
Okay.
But his spirit goes into like a baby.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of shows the guy growing up, kind of like The Omen. If you took all the Omen movies and like shrunk it into one,
right?
Like from young and then middle age, but most of it's high school.
Okay.
And he's just kind of the weirdo, and he's got that struggling with. There's something wrong with me, and I can't fit in.
Okay.
But there's definite homosexual, like, you have to think this is early 80s, overt things going on in this movie.
Okay.
I mean, there's a similar, you look at Carrie in that shower scene, there's a similar version here.
Right.
But it's guys.
Okay.
And, Wang's out and everything.
Huh.
I don't care. Honestly, some people are like so like uptight about that shit. I don't care. Like when they get on screen,
yeah, whatever.
But there's a part where he's being bullied, and the bully kisses like in the shower is like kissing him, but it's like, hey, as a domination thing. Oh, ha, kissing him. But then it goes on where you can really tell like he's conflicted with girls and guys, and he's a real like weird character in it,
right?
although it's not that long, it feels longer than it should be. But it's still interesting all the way through, and I like it because it's so weird and quirky, and there's like a lot of different things going on.
And that's actually I looked it up on IMDb while you were talking about it, and it does say, "Holy crap, you have to see this mess."
I don't know if I'd call it a mess.
Well, I mean, I didn't read the whole thing, but I thought it was it sounded pretty funny.
It's not like it's campy, like it's like so stupid. It's well done. It's well made. It's well shot. It's got a good like orchestral score to it too.
Right.
But there's just something a little off with it. But I highly recommend like a one-time watch. I think it's probably a lot of people's cult favorite movies.
Right.
I can see why there's a lot of elements like, and certainly towards the third act, there's like some real interesting stuff going on in it. There's I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I mean, I really recommend this one too. It's on Shudder as well.
Oh yeah, it showed on AMC Plus when I looked it up, so I figured it would be on Shudder.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Okay. You have to text me that name so I don't forget.
I'm not your bitch.
I'm asking as a friend.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Good, bitch.
The last two, I will leave probably the most contentious one to the end. So I watched. I finally got around to watching Jordan Peele's 2019 movie Us.
I haven't seen it.
So whenever I talked about Nope, and I said the first time that I watched it, I didn't like it.
Yes.
But I thought about it and I rewatched it and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, although there's a lot to like about it as far as technical aspects and acting and cinematography and sound design, this one again was very much one about themes. But the plot was so full of holes,
right?
That I just like. If I watch this again, it's not going to change my mind.
Okay,
I guarantee that. Nope was kind of up there with me, and like I don't really. But then I watched it again, and I thought about, oh yeah, I really like this. I don't think the same will happen with this one. This one is even way more far fetched than Nope.
Okay.
And I'm not going to spoil it for you since you haven't seen it if you're going to see it.
I don't plan on it.
So, spoiler warning for everyone. Just skip on by. So it starts off with a girl that's with her parents on a beach, like promenade.
Right.
She goes into this like hall of mirrors. She sees in a mirror basically herself, but with her back turned to her. And then
have you ever seen your double? It's fucking creepy.
My double?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Brad Pitt.
You're full of shit. So I have a story about this, right? Before you get too far into this. My mother and I were down here on vacation when we still lived in Connecticut with our whole family, and we were in line to go see Captain EO at Epcot Center. And I kid you not, this kid that looked exactly like me was in the queue in the queue right next to me, like across from me. We were looking at each other in the face. It was the creepiest shit.
Okay.
My mother pointed him out to me. It was so weird. Anyway, go on.
Was that the end of the story, Jim?
Mm-hmm. That was the end of the story.
That was an exciting story. Thank you for sharing.
But it's the creep factor, because it's creepy as shit to be looking at somebody who's a mirror image of you.
Well, what if you're an identical twin of somebody? You think that's weird?
I would have thought it's weird, except I have my birth certificate that I got from the city where I was born.
So anyway, she goes into this like House of Mirrors. He sees somebody that's basically her with her back turned to her, and then the person turns around, fade to black, and then we go to when she's older,
right,
and she's got a family, and they go back to the same beach because her husband wants to go there, and then all of a sudden they're in a house and they see their doppelgangers, all of them.
Okay.
And it's like then a home invasion, kind of like funny games type scenario. And her doppelganger is talking to her like, oh, like she's the only one that talks. And it's like he's trying to make a point about. Well, okay, I'll spoil it. So apparently, and this is what blows my mind. Like, this is too far. There's an underground tunnel full of thousands or maybe millions of clones of people on the surface that perhaps the government at some point was trying to use to puppet the people on the top, but they gave up, and now they're getting loose and killing their people that look the same as them on the top. But it's all about thematics about, you know, upper class, lower class, and, you know, appreciate the things that you have, and there's homeless, and, you know, people don't see them and because they're underground, and but it just didn't work for me at all.
Okay.
The plot, the acting, and everything else is fine. But yeah, this was all right for one time watch, but I think it was overblown, and I'm glad I didn't watch this before I watched Nope.
Yeah. Well, see, with the exception of Nope, I've not really been a fan of Jordan Peele. I did not like Get Out, and I did not like what he did with The Twilight Zone. So I've never really pursued any of his stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Twilight Zone. I thought Get Out was, again, a fairly straightforward reworking of Stepford Wives, right? And Nope is kind of both a kind of like look at these different themes that we're putting in front of you,
right?
But mixed in with a fairly effective movie. On rewatch, but us. I mean, there's so many things like set on a beach, and like her kid has a Jaws t-shirt, and there's definitely like Jaws shots around, and people are wearing like Black Flag t-shirts and stuff, which I love. But there's elements I like, but like the overall plot, like it's just too far-fetched, like too far-fetched.
Okay.
So we'll go down to my final watch of this week. I watched the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Mm.
Can you guess what it is?
He's got a new one out. Knock at the Cabin.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, you said you wouldn't watch this, correct?
I don't have any desire to see it because I did not enjoy the book.
So this movie, again, I think technically is very well done.
I don't doubt that because the cast is solid, and I'm sure the writing is on point.
Well, the writing, that's one of the issues for me.
Okay.
So again, and I think we've talked about this in the past. Okay, this is just one of these, the diverting the train moral dilemmas, right?
Yeah, right.
Which everybody has heard of 100 times over. So I was hoping this movie would bring something new to that moral dilemma. You know,
no, it doesn't.
Would you kill a loved one to save 10 people or whatever, right?
Right.
100 people, 1,000, like how many people would it be worth?
Right. But in this case, it's one person to save the entire world.
Right. But again, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Right. Right.
And we've seen this in movies before.
Yep.
Now, one of the things about this movie, as you well know, we've got the two protagonists who are gay men who have adopted a child.
So let me ask you a question about this, because this is one of the things I really did enjoy about this book was the relationship between those two the two main guys. It wasn't treated any differently than it would have been if there was a male and a female in that relationship. It was just they were going about their lives, making food, taking care of each other, taking care of the daughter, and dealing with the regular bullshit that every couple does. And I really appreciated the way Paul Tremblay treated those characters in the book.
I have mixed feelings about it in the movie.
Okay.
In a way, I think the movie still normalized the two gay characters having a adopted daughter.
Okay.
But they also made a point of them saying, well, you're only doing this because we're gay. I'm making a big deal about it.
Right. Well, that was part of the book. Like they did originally, through part of it, think that it was a homophobic attack.
But it was also forced into that, because one of the people who's the ginger from Harry Potter.
Yep, he attacked one of them.
At one point, attacked one of them.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they try to normalize it by them just being a normal couple with a child.
Right.
Then try to raise, well, it's just a homophobic thing, and we're, da 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 da, and this guy attacked me in the past, and like, it's almost like pick a lane.
Right.
Like, either it's important or it's not.
Right.
And to me, it would be more like just generally important if you didn't make a big deal about it.
Well, and what bothered me about that whole situation, like I get that it was supposed to be shocking or whatever, but the length of time those people were in the house, and that character knew that was the guy that attacked him, and yet he kept it from his family. Why would you make that a secret?
In the movie, it's like he didn't recognize him for a while.
Yeah.
Which didn't make a lot of sense.
Right. Because it's not like it happened 15 years ago. This happened, I think it was a 3-year span or something.
But I wonder what the point, like, wouldn't it make more sense? Like, I don't know if they're trying to change the narrative to say, well, this guy knows me, so we know they're talking shit, and it's just homophobic attack. But everybody else is just like, no, we're not here for that at all, and we're very sorry, and
that does come up several times in the book.
But why not? To me, not being a gay person, I just feel it would have been more normal to not even make it a big issue.
Yep.
But anyway,
I don't disagree.
But anyway, I mean, I think the concept behind it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. And I don't like kind of the. I just didn't like the story very much. I don't think there was a lot of interesting subtext, or they've changed. It's just the moral dilemma of would you kill somebody to save a lot of people? What I will say is the standout actor in this movie was Dave Bautista.
Really?
Who was, I thought, absolutely captivating every time he was on screen or talking.
And see, that's one of the big problems I have. Like, that the character in the book is supposed to be bookish. He's supposed to make friends with the little girl. I'm sorry, but if a 5-year-old sees Dave Bautista walking up to her in the middle of the woods, she's not going to immediately think, oh, he's my friend.
Dave Bautista in this portrays the character with such almost childlike naivety and niceness that he steals the show for
That's interesting.
And I know because you brought that up before. He's like, well, in the book it's just a smaller guy and stuff. But he, like, for coming from a wrestling background, not an acting background,
right?
I think he can be so effective, and especially in quiet roles.
Yeah.
I think he's got a very.
I mean, you see that in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's not.
Like it's Drax, but I think he's very likable, and he can have a very soft spoken. And
that's surprising to me.
Something about his face or something, maybe like it's just like you can just he like that was the one thing I'm like, yeah, I'm totally on board with this character, and I feel sympathy with him, and I kind of believe him more than the other characters,
right?
But the overall thing is basically it's like God's gonna do an Armageddon on the earth.
Right.
Unless you kill this person, so we all got visions and we all came here and you have to do it and we have to convince you. I'm like, I don't believe in God and whatever. And and some of the things that they do, right? They're trying to convince them, but there's, one of the two protagonists seems very convinced very quickly.
Yep. And that is what happens in the book too.
But I guess like the ending of the book's ambiguous.
Yep. 100%.
The movie is not ambiguous at all, and it's.
I wondered what the twist was going to be. That was going to be my next question: is what did he do to twist the movie?
There is no twist.
Really, it's just Armageddon.
Yeah, it's just one of the characters is just like, okay, just kill me.
Yep.
And then the other one kills him, and then things are all better.
Yeah, and that's not how the book ends at all. Not at all.
So, what I would say about this movie. It's so unremarkable in its writing, where you would think that setup would lead to something interesting, but it's just really, again, spoiler, a gay couple with a daughter.
Right.
Then 4 people come in, say, "Oh, one of you have to kill themselves, or one of you have to kill one of the other."
Right. It couldn't be a suicide. One of them had to kill the other
to stop the apocalypse. And if you don't, every 10 hours or whatever it is, we're going to kill one of ourselves, or we're going to kill
to stave it off. Yeah.
To show you that it's real, and we're going to turn on the news. But they're turning on the news, and it's like, oh, there's like a pandemic going on. There's like, oh, like planes are crashing. It's like, well, that shit happens all the time.
Oh, no, so in the book, it was a little more grand scale. So that's different. In the movie,
I mean, ramp it up, but like, there's planes falling out of the sky. It's like, oh, 300 planes have fallen out of the sky. We don't know why.
Yeah, but then there's like a tsunami. I think in one,
but those happen all the time too.
They do. So I will tell you this. I know Paul Tremblay has another book that you would enjoy greatly, because I know the kind of endings you like. If you put it on your TBR, it's called Head Full of Ghosts. And I think we've talked about it before.
But this I mean, if this follows the book, forget about the ending.
Right.
But if this is similar to his books, it's by the numbers and uninteresting as a story concept.
That book I agree with, but I did not find that with his other books. That's why
does he have gay characters in his books?
Not in the other 2 books that I've read. No.
I wonder why. I'm just watching it. It's almost like stereotype, but it's like I don't understand why it's a thing, right? If you're going to normalize something, normalize it. If you're going to try and make it as a point, make it as a point.
So what that story said to me, that part of that story, this is a cis white male trying to write from the point of view of a gay couple. He doesn't really have a deep understanding of it, and I could be way off base. I could be way off. I don't know. I don't know much about Paul Tremblay, but this is how it comes across. It's a heterosexual white male that is trying to write characters that live in a world different from his, but still show that he understands their world. And it doesn't come across like he does.
Well,
it comes across like he understands the stereotypes, and well, this is how it would be with a straight couple. We'll just make it two guys. But then he brings in all this other stuff that only affects gay characters. You know what I mean? It's
and again, you're more an authority on it than I. But I thought, for the most part,
is that a gay joke?
Are you calling me homophobic?
Not at all.
No, but as much as it's like I kind of appreciated that it was just a normal family.
Yeah, and I do agree with that point, but I don't know that he understood it completely.
But then they kind of threw in these. We have to make it obvious that they're different, and that's why they think. And I'm just thinking to myself, would it be so much more interesting if they just didn't bring up any of that? Like, if they just had it, again, if it was a man and a woman and a child, like The Strangers or any other million movies that you've ever seen in your life, where it's just a family and it's a home invasion.
Yep.
It's not like anybody's. Maybe we could do a reverse one, where it's a man and a woman and a child, and like a whole bunch of gay people run in. And start
no, because then the Republic. No, never mind.
If anybody would like us to start a political and religious podcast, let us know. And because that's a lot of fun too.
Oh, I would get so heated.
Well, that's what people want, Jim.
No, I would be so angry.
Why, are you gay or something?
You think?
Oh, you are?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, mark out. No, but
that's okay. I like talking to your wife more anyway.
Well, you're not that gay then.
Right.
No, but I'm totally fine to do something on the side too.
Well, on that note, I think we're done. Everybody, if you've hung out this long and we haven't, offended you, we will see you next time.
Friends.
Yep. Both my friends, they're gone.
Bye, both our listeners. It was a good well lasted.
It was. Bye.
Okay. Bye.